Good morning. It is 4 o'clock in the morning. It's Saturday morning. I'm on my way to Folkestone to Le Châtel to begin my journey to Portugal. A journey that in many ways started 2 years ago, almost exactly to the day, when me and my family decided to pack everything up and go travelling, world schooling, see a bit of the world. And this is the story of its conclusion. Now press go. You know how we do this.
I haven't done this in a long time.
3 months.
I feel like a newbie all over again.
Look at you go!
Gotta lean back or we bounce.
Well done, Lottie. You're right, Ted. So it's 4:18 in the morning. My Le Shuttle train goes at 7:30 and I need to be there an hour before. So I've got plenty of time, 2 hours to get to Le Shuttle, and then on my way to Bordeaux, where I'll be stopping this evening. It's my first stop on my way to Lulé in Portugal. It's 7 a.m. I have made it to Le Châtel, and we're literally just waiting to depart now. And feeling very emotional. This is closure, I guess. We started this journey 2 years ago, really, going round Europe and off to Portugal first, then Spain, then into Morocco with the kids and my wife Katie, and we stayed in Morocco for almost 9 months, which was an eye-opener. Beautiful, beautiful country and some amazing people, but not somewhere I would choose to go and spend an extended period of time in again. Culturally, I think we found it very, very difficult. So after Morocco, we ended up in Portugal and tried to start a community of like-minded people who wanted to escape the system and start a new life off-grid. Animals, goats, chickens, our dog's over there, which is why I'm going back over there now to go pick them up. But it all fell apart and it all went wrong. And we had to come back to the UK for 3 months for visa reasons, 3 months in, 3 months out. And the last time we came back to the UK for 3 months was 4 months ago. And very quickly after we left Portugal, the last time for our stint back in the UK, everything started to fall apart and it became quite a horrible experience. It's amazing how quickly some people that you think are very close friends, that you've got to know, that you've lived with, can really turn on you when it suits them. And it was a horrible experience being back in the UK and not being able to do anything about it, not being able to fix anything. When we came back last time, we had to leave the dogs behind because we were flying back, so somebody was looking after them. And now I am travelling back to Portugal, back to our old piece of land that's now been taken over by some of the people that were living with us, to go and retrieve the rest of our stuff and get our beautiful dogs back. But it's very, very emotional, because I saw Portugal as a new beginning, a new start, a fresh start for our family, fresh start for me, and it just hasn't turned out that way. So as you can imagine, I'm pretty nervous about going back to Lule, back to our old piece of land. Very excited to see the dogs, very excited to get them back. But yeah, this is going to be a tough one for me. I'm in France. The weather is absolutely appalling. I could hardly see the road, let alone the cars in front of me. I haven't driven in rain like this for years. The sky is thick white. There's thunder and lightning all around me. You can't even see the lightning because the sky just lights up blue, because the visibility is next to nothing. Currently driving at 50 miles an hour in an 80, because I can't see. I aquaplane everywhere because the puddles of water are so bloody massive. I've got a few hours of driving ahead of me. I get to my hotel in Bordeaux at 5 o'clock this evening, although at this rate it looks like I'm going to be behind schedule.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down, 'cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever.
Got 300 miles left to go. I'm on the road to Bordeaux. Strange coming down this road again, because this time 2 years ago when I was driving down this very same road, I was doing it because I was driving to meet Katie and the kids where they were staying in northern Portugal. They left a week before me and I came down a week later, waiting for the dog's paperwork to go through and to bring all our luggage and everything like that. I remember the feeling, racing towards them. I couldn't wait to get there. It was the start of a new life. We had wrapped everything up at home. We'd got rid of the pub. And it felt like a new beginning. Now I'm going down the same roads 2 years later to collect all our belongings and collect the dogs. So it's almost reverse. And instead of speeding towards a new life, slowly driving back to pick up the pieces of the last life we left behind. This is a really tough trip. A really tough trip. And the weather's crap, which doesn't help. And I got a speeding ticket. Should get to the hotel tonight. I've stopped a few times, so I reckon I've got another stop as well. So I reckon I'll get there this evening about 6 p.m. French time, so 5 p.m. UK time. Looking forward to a hot shower and an early night. Tomorrow's drive is a big one. It's another 10 hours, I think, tomorrow to get to Seville, which I'll stay for the night, and then I've got a couple of hours left of driving the next day before I get back to Lule to collect everything. This whole journey, I think, for me is a period of reflection. And it's not to say that the whole time we went away for that period of time was a bad time. It wasn't. It had its challenging moments. But it had some amazing times. and some amazing memories, which I will never forget. But maybe it just wasn't enough. I always said to people when I was starting the community, I said, why are you here? Are you running away from your old life, or are you running towards a new one? And I think for a long period of time I convinced myself I was running towards a new life. But I wasn't. I was as guilty as everybody else. I was doing it to run away from the problems that I had back at home, whether that be business, relationship, or all the above. And sometimes you just need to go back home and work on your problems, which I think is what the next chapter of my life is about. Last time I did a journey this long was, when was it? Jesus. It was 2 weeks to the day after the Ukraine war started, and I was running my old pub at the time, which was the Swan Inn in Midhurst. And me being me, had a harebrained idea that I wanted to run off into the sunset and go save people without thinking twice. So I went on social media for my pub Facebook page. I said, if anybody wants to help in the Ukraine war and wants to deliver aid to refugees, come to the pub tomorrow night at 6 o'clock or whatever it was. And that post went viral within 12 hours. It got seen by millions of people. And I remember going into the pub that night, I had to set up a projector screen and link it up with Zoom so that people could video call in from all over the country. I think we had about 100 people either there or on Zoom listening in. And 2 weeks after that very first meeting, we drove down to Ukraine, well, the Poland-Ukraine border, with 12 van loads full of gear for refugees. And that was probably the last time I did a trip this long. So in the beginning, I think like a lot of people, when this all kicked off, everybody spent the weekend glued to their TV screens, watching the news and seeing what was unfolding. And obviously it was heartbreaking for everybody involved, everybody watching it. And I spent the weekend thinking about it, watching it unfold on a news app, and thinking there must be something that we can do to help. And everybody wanted to help, and everybody wanted to know what they could do to help. A good shower now. This is 3,000 miles to the southern tip of Portugal where we're going, and I would dare say it's about that there and back to Ukraine as well. And that was a crazy journey. It was so bizarre going in convoy with 12 van loads of other men, women volunteering, running towards a problem to see if they could provide help. And it was the first time I think I'd properly got shoved into the limelight, and it was a very weird experience. I remember waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning so I could be on Sky News by sort of 6:30, 7 o'clock for a live interview.
Donations of aid to Ukraine, both big and small, have been pouring in from all over the world. Digby Freneau, who runs the Swan Inn in Midhurst in West Sussex, started Ukraine Sunflower Aid. Now, in less than a week, they've raised around £20,000. I'm pleased to say that Digby joins us now. Digby, good morning to you. So tell us, why did you decide to start raising money like this?
Well, I think, like a lot of people, over last weekend we spent the time looking at the news and scrolling through news apps and thinking, is there something that we can do to help? Now, there is little that we can personally do to help from so far away. And I was sitting in the bath on Monday morning thinking there must be something I can do, and I came up with a harebrained idea that I was going to get a group of friends together and drive to the Poland-Ukraine border and deliver aid to Ukrainian refugees, and it's kind of spiralled from there, really. Did that several times, and I did some live recording at the refugee centre. I was featured in the Sunday Times, and I was being interviewed by the Sunday Times on the way. And I remember saying, don't misquote me on this, don't misquote me on this. And of course, the Sunday Times, being the Sunday Times, absolutely did. It was a bit of a hash job, but never mind. It was all great exposure, raised loads of money. I think we ended up raising about £50,000 in 3 weeks. And then we had a load of medical aid donated to us. I had a call from Buckingham Palace, which was the most bizarre phone call I think I've ever had in my life. But that trip was, again, it was like I was running towards something, and it was fun because we were in it together and we were trying to achieve something great. And this whole journey just seems quite sad. But maybe it's just because I need to process letting go of the last dream and realizing now that I'm in the process of working towards a new dream. And I think that new dream is still in the planning phase at the moment. But there we go. I just wish this journey had more of a joyful outcome. Well, it does. I get my dogs back, who I've missed so much. Anyway, next stop, Bordeaux, and a nice bottle of red wine. Reminds me, actually, the last time I did this journey, and it was on a Sunday, and I didn't realise everything here completely shuts down on Sundays. And I remember going, yes, right, I'm going to make it all the way to Bordeaux. I'm going to sit in a nice little restaurant in this nice little village that I was staying in. I'm going to have a nice glass of red wine, beautiful steak, and then I'm going to chill out and rest for the evening. I remember getting there, and absolutely everything for, you know, like a 20-mile radius was completely shut because it was Sunday evening, and all I could get was a packet of crisps and a bottle of Coke and some water or something like that. Just sat in this room that I had for the evening that had no internet connection. So yeah, all those hopes and dreams I had for that wonderful evening on my own in Bordeaux didn't really come to fruition. Maybe this time, with it being a Saturday, I might have a little bit more luck. See you in Bordeaux. I've made it. I'm in my hotel in Bordeaux now. It's nice room, slap bang in the centre of Bordeaux. Made it here, 6:30. What a long day. So it's 6:30, so that's 5:30 UK time, and I left at 4 o'clock this morning, so 13.5 hours on the road is enough for any man. I am done, I am hot, I'm sweaty, and I'm going to have a shower. Left the apartment to try and find somewhere nice to eat, and everywhere around here is just fast food restaurants. My dream of having a nice bottle of red wine and a steak in Bordeaux is never ever going to come true. So instead I've gone to the local supermarket, got myself a bottle of wine, and there's a Pizza Hut around the corner. Not exactly what I had in mind, but well, never mind. It's 5 AM. I had set my alarm for 7, but I seem to have woken up 2 hours early. I'm contemplating going back to sleep or getting in the shower and starting driving. And seeming though it's 35 degrees in Seville, and the little car I'm driving doesn't have air conditioning, I suppose the more time I can drive earlier in the day, the better. I think it's time to get up. Another early start this morning. Right, we have got 10 hours and 30 minutes driving today to get to Seville in Spain with stops. I reckon that will probably be more like 11 hours. It's 5:30. Let's see what time we get to Seville this evening. 35-degree heat in a Ford Ka, 1 litre with no air conditioning. This is not going to be the fun part of the journey.
Starting route. Head northeast on Boulevard Gadar.
It's just coming up to 7 o'clock in the morning. I've been driving for about 2.5 hours. The sun has come up. It's looking like it's going to be a beautiful day, and I can see the mountains of Spain in the distance. I remember this from last time, and I remember being so shocked that it's almost instantly, as soon as you cross over the border from France to Spain, the landscape just completely changes. It's so bizarre. I'm really looking forward to this journey today. I love Spain, loved driving through Spain last time. But what I'm not looking forward to is the fact that this car doesn't have any air conditioning, and Spain today is currently sitting at 35 degrees. That's what the weather forecast says it's going to be. It's going to get very, very hot in this car without any aircon. This is why I left so early in the morning. Wish me luck. And just like that, I'm in Spain, home of flamenco, sangria and paella, where the asphalt begs you to put your foot down as fast as you can possibly go, which in my case, in my Ford Ka, isn't exactly very fast. It's getting seriously hot. I'm so tired. I'm really starting to regret getting up at 4:30 or whatever it was this morning, 5 o'clock. I'm about halfway, which is fine, which is good, but the sun is starting to beat down, and the fact that there is no air conditioning in this car is really starting to get to me, and I don't think it's helping my tiredness either. I'm not a big fan of energy drinks, but I have had to succumb and buy a rather large can of Red Bull, which I'm not particularly happy about. But it's better that than the alternative, I think, and I don't really want to pull over anywhere and have a nap for a couple of hours, because I just want to get there and chill out and get an early night and get ready to face what's coming tomorrow, or potentially coming tomorrow. I really don't know how I'm going to be received, which is a bit worrying, especially when I know I didn't do anything wrong. But when people get an idea in their head and are looking for somebody to blame, there's no stopping them, unfortunately. Anyway, back on the road. Find another podcast to listen to and tune out for the next few hours, and just keep going. The scenery is beautiful. The sky is wonderful and blue. Yeah, let's crack on. Apologies for the image and the audio quality. I'm having to record this off my GoPro because my phone has just died due to heat exhaustion. It is so furiously hot in here. I cannot explain enough. I think it's 35 degrees outside. Car's got no aircon. I've been driving with the window open most of the time, which becomes deafening when you're doing 80 miles an hour. It's so hot. I cannot wait to get to Seville and jump in a cold shower. Last night in France, all I wanted was a hot shower. Today, it's exactly the opposite. It's amazing how, just travelling by road for a few hours, how much the temperature changes. It is scorching hot in here. Hopefully my phone will cool down soon so I can turn it back on, so I can find my directions to the apartment I'm staying in tonight. Otherwise, I'm going to have a few issues. I'm hidden it underneath my seat now, so it's out of direct sunlight. So fingers crossed that will be back on shortly. Otherwise, quite frankly, I'm a little bit screwed. I've made it to Seville, and I've found a gin and tonic, and I found a lovely little bar. Actually, I'm not in Seville, I'm in a little village just outside Seville, but it's absolutely gorgeous here, and it's bloody hot. It's 38 degrees, and for those of you watching in the States, that's 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It's hot, and that's at 6 o'clock in the evening. It's seriously hot, and a well-earned break. I'm gonna have a few drinks tonight and let my hair down in preparation for what hopefully is an okay day tomorrow, but has the potential to be a bit of a disaster depending on how other people decide to behave. But I'll give you more information on the background of that shortly. It's Monday morning. I'm just about to leave for my last leg of the journey to Portugal. I've got 2 hours left from where I am here in this little village outside Seville, which is a beautiful village, actually. Beautiful little village or town. Absolutely stunning. I'm feeling really apprehensive about today because, well, first of all, it could go really well. It could be absolutely fine. I could go there, get the stuff, put it in the back of the car, get the dogs and drive off. And it could be absolutely no problem at all. Or it could be more of a dramatic scene. It depends on how certain other people want to play it. And also, the Portugal dream was a really big dream for me, and it was really sad when all the arguments and the fighting started happening and I realised it wasn't going to come to fruition. So when I realised that it wasn't, going to carry on anymore, certainly with me or Katie there, I sort of had to start letting that go, and now I feel like I've got to throw myself back into it briefly, and I never thought I'd have to be here again. But why did it all go wrong? What's the story behind it? Well, I guess it was about a year ago. Katie and I had been in Morocco for 8 months with the kids.
With Digby Furno. He's the host of Man on the Run podcast, and he sticks in the UK in October and moved to Morocco. I think the answer is obvious, that blue sky behind you, but I'm going to ask it. Why would you want to leave the UK?
Well, why wouldn't you want to leave the UK at the moment? I mean, I left almost a year ago, but I think it was blatantly obvious the way things were going. I've got 2 young kids that we took out of school. We weren't happy with the way the education system was going in the UK. We wanted to escape from it all, and we started travelling around the world. We did our first stop in Portugal. We then spent 3 months in Spain. We've just spent 8 months in Morocco, which was amazing.
Stuff packed. I'm putting all the stuff in the car. Everything's being packed in the guest room. My dad's outside packing the car with all our stuff for our road trip, and that's going to be really fun. We've got 2 days of driving. We're taking a boat on the next day, and for that night in between the 2 days of us driving, we are staying in a house.
Everyone say bye, house.
Bye, house.
Bye, pool.
Bye, pool.
The pool's really warm.
I'm going to miss the pool.
I'm going to miss the pool too. Are you excited, Obi? No, I'm not. I've got to sit in that bloody football for the next 9 hours. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I've just woken up. I look cold, being eaten alive by mosquitoes. I'm absolutely exhausted after yesterday. Everybody else is still asleep, thankfully. We got here at about 12:30 last night, and we set off at 8 o'clock in the morning, so it took us a lot longer than we were expecting. The ferry left, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours late. But the journey here was good. It was straight, easy, no traffic, no dramas, but the kids were absolutely exhausted, and then when we got here, everyone was super excited. The place is absolutely beautiful from what I've seen so far. Sun's just coming up now, but I'm tired, but I'm happy. Looking forward to seeing all your new friends.
Yeah.
That's what's really cool, isn't it? You're going to be able to like wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, run out the front door and just play the entire day.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Really, really cool.
So tell us exactly what you're doing, this land that you've bought and what you intend to do with it.
So the land that we've got here is a 2-hectare piece of land. It currently is a campsite, but we're taking it over in a month's time. We've got 5 other families coming to join us to set up this community. We're going to be as self-sufficient as we possibly can. We are going to be setting up education for the kids so that we comply with the Portuguese regulations, but most of it will be following some sort of online curriculum to make sure they're reaching, their full potential. We intend on growing as much of our own food as possible, using our own water, creating our own electricity through solar power. We literally are building a community of like-minded people who are coming together to escape the rat race, to escape what's going on in the rest of the world, and see if we can live a simpler life at a better pace and just really get back to the basics of what it's like, what a community is supposed to be like. They always say that it takes a village to raise a family, and I just felt that we were losing that in the UK, and that's what we want to kind of recreate here where we are. So we found a place in Portugal. We were looking at joining a community, but we couldn't find one that sort of suited us or that was focused around the children. So we came across one place and we said, it was a campsite. I said, oh, we're looking to come and stay on such and such dates. And he was like, actually, I'm thinking of leasing it out or selling it. I don't want to do it anymore. So us being us decided that we'd take on the lease and turn this campsite in the south of Portugal into a community for families who were homeschooling, and we would rent out 6 plots for people to live there full time, and then we would use some of the other plots to welcome people who are visiting, who are travelling with their families. And it was all going to be family orientated. Everything you had to have, you had to be a family. You had to bring kids, so that we were keeping everybody's sort of ideals, their thought processes were all going to be sort of similar. We didn't want it to be a place where people were just coming to party for a few nights so they could go to the beach in the Algarve, in Albufeira or Cartera or somewhere like that. So we started originally with a group of 5 other families that were going to do it with us, and that were going to start it with us. And then one by one, they all started arguing. We started arguing with them. They were trying to take it in a different direction. They wanted to make money out of it. We didn't want to make money out of it. So we lost, through a period of about a month, we lost all the people that were originally going to come and invest and be part of this community that we were going to set up. And it was the first inkling that we thought, well, hang on a second, this isn't going to be that easy. you're dealing with lots of different people, lots of different personalities, and yeah, so the first group of people fell by the wayside before they even got to Portugal. So there was one family that did decide that they were going to come along and be part of the project, the Gaia Project, as it was called. And we had already met them. We had spent a brief time with them in a place called Oria in Spain when we first went on our travels. And we liked them, we got on really well with them. And they decided that they wanted to come be part of the project, the Gaia Project. And so they came and they joined us, but we only spent 2 weeks together before we had to go back to England. The joys of Brexit and the Schengen rules means that we could only be in Portugal for 3 months and then had to go back to England for 3 months, and we would have to do 3 months in, 3 months out. The plan was to get our visas sorted when we were back in England, although as anybody that's gone through the visa process trying to get a visa for Europe, you'll understand that things aren't always as easy as they should be. Anyway, so we leave them in charge of the land. We've got visiting people coming through, sort of covering the costs of the land while we're back in England, and this family were looking after the place for us. They even find a family that wants to come and join us full time, which is amazing, so that they become part of the community. They become one of our full-time families. And then we had a period of about 2 weeks where everybody that came decided they wanted to complain about everything. All the visitors that were coming were complaining about everything. And it was mainly due to one single mother that came that was very toxic and very disruptive, and caused an awful lot of problems. I think that was and we weren't there to fix it. We weren't there to do anything about it. Yet everybody who had a problem that was there was phoning us, shouting at us, abusing us, and blaming us, despite the fact that we weren't there. Doesn't seem particularly fair, but we brought this whole thing together, and we have to accept that level of responsibility. But it was the first inkling of, oh, is this going to work out? Anyway, we overcame it. We came back to Portugal, and the families that were there had left. Even the family that was going to be living with us full time decided that they were going to leave, and they left a week before we got there. Luckily, another family that decided that it wanted to join the project as a founding family, as we called them, a permanent family, had already got there before the other people had left, so the place wasn't left unattended. And then we got back there, and I remember seeing the state of the place when we got back. Everything had been ruined, nothing had been looked after, the kitchen was filthy dirty, everything was broken. I just saw it all after being away for 3 months, and I just wanted to cry. In fact, I think I did cry. Now I press go. You know how we do this.
I haven't done this in a long time.
3 months.
I feel like a newbie all over again.
3 months we've been away, and it's been tough. We went back to England to get our visas sorted.
Just a 2-week holiday.
2-week holiday to get our visas sorted back in England. And we got turned away because we didn't have the right paperwork, any of it. It was all wrong. We got some advice that didn't really turn out to be the right advice.
So take note if you are looking to get a visa in Portugal.
Yes, it's not as easy as you think it is. So we then ended up staying at Katie's father's spare apartment.
Before we walk down that ditch?
There's not a ditch, it's a path.
Oh, okay.
So we ended up getting stuck in Felixstowe, which is a lovely place to be stuck, by the way. If you're going to be stuck somewhere, I highly recommend it. We were stuck in Felixstowe for 3 months.
Mind the rocks.
Mind the rocks. Whoa, down we go. Sorry. We thought we would take you on a little bit of a tour. So we stayed in Felixstowe for 3 months over Christmas, which was nice, and in a way, spending Christmas back in the UK.
But back with family, wasn't it, for me?
Yeah, it was.
Which was really nice, actually.
Yeah, it was really nice. But I'll be honest, I found it really difficult. I did find it difficult. I'm used to being outside now and enjoying the space, and I sort of missed that while we were away. So we're back now. We're back in Portugal, and the weather is lovely. Look at that. Look at
I feel
that.
like we've been back for ages, but it's only been a week and a half.
Week and a half we've been back. It was a bit shocking coming back, if I'm being completely honest, because we had left some families here that we thought had the same vision as us and were going to look after the place, and that just didn't really happen.
No.
There's been a substantial amount of damage that's been caused to some projects that we had going.
Well, not just physically though, is it? It's physical stuff and also just the whole vibe here.
Yeah, it wasn't great coming back in that sense. We rebuilt. We brought everything back together. We refocused our efforts to find our 6 full-time families, and we found them. And they all came together before we had to go back to England again for our visas, and also because a member of Katie's family is gravely ill and she had to come back to look after him. But we rebuilt. We got some amazing families on board. We shared some amazing evenings together before we had to go back to England, and the Gaia Project was coming back to life again. I was so happy. We set up a corporation in Portugal so we could operate everything legally. We got, we did it all by the book. And that was a hard process. There's a lot of paperwork in Portugal and nothing moves particularly fast. So we got ourselves up as a registered association. We could receive donations, we could take money for people staying, all of this, all completely above board. And one of the other families came on board with the association with us. And sort of, so between them and us, we became equal in the whole thing, which was really important. We then came back to England and everything started going wrong again. Everybody started feeling sorry for the family that was left behind while they had to go back to their home countries to pack up, and said that we had abandoned them and that we weren't calling them enough to check that they were okay. We'd only been back in England for, I think, 3 weeks at this point. And I was in pretty regular contact with everybody, but I don't feel the need to actually micromanage somebody and call them every single day. I think that's completely unnecessary. The family that was left behind started telling new founding families who were ready to join us that we had taken loads of money out of the association and that our bank records didn't add up. And I started getting abusive messages from people saying, I hope the police find you before karma gets you, all these horrible things. And it was all down to one argument, one silly argument of which I can't even remember the details of, but it all started with this one woman arguing and sending horrible messages to Katie. Clearly there was an issue between the two of them, but it spilled out into the whole group. We start getting accused of financial impropriety. We show everybody bank statements to show them that, here's the money, here's where it's been spent. Nothing's been taken by us personally, and nothing had ever been taken by us personally. And it was all completely above board. We gave them all the evidence, and when they didn't like the evidence, the answer was, well, you could have faked it. It's like, well, so don't ask me for proof if you're not going to believe the proof. It was ridiculous, and the amount of abuse and horrible messages we started getting from these people that are supposed to be people that wanted to leave the system behind, to escape, day-to-day life and the rule of thumb by governments. These were supposed to be open-minded people ready to come together and create an off-grid community in Portugal and escape all the bullshit of normal life. And when it came down to it, before they'd even got to the point where they were living there full time, they reverted back to their old ways. And by that, I mean the security blanket of modern day life is your government. Now, we can all protest them as much as we like and line the streets and be for one thing or against another thing, but that security blanket is still there. When you need to blame somebody other than yourself, you have the government. It's not my fault, it's the government's fault. Oh, look at the oppression we're living under, etc., etc. It's very easy to blame somebody else. But when you take yourself and put yourself in a community or building a community because you want to reject that system, you're left in a situation where the only person that you have to blame is yourself. And if you're not comfortable with accepting responsibility for your own actions, then you have what we had in this situation with the Gaia Project. You find somebody else to blame. There are people out there in the world that think that they're ready to govern themselves, that are ready to start these communities, that are ready to bring people together. In my experience, the sad reality in this, let's call it experiment we had, is that no matter how much you try, people aren't ready to be brought together in this manner yet. And I think it's incredibly sad. I think that humanity has got a long way to go before it can self-govern without people reacting the way that they did with the Gaia Project. And it makes me so sad that it fell apart the way that it did. I remember I edit documentaries and podcasts for people, and I do one for a guy called Mark Atwood, and he had a guy on his show, and I was editing the episode, and it said, oh, you know, well, these communities, they never work, like 95% of them fail in the first year. And I remember being really offended by him saying that, but it is true. They do fail. They do fail, and they fail for a very good reason, because people aren't ready. People aren't ready to accept responsibility for their own lives, their own actions, and they're not ready yet to have someone, not to have someone to blame. So, I left the UK almost 2 years ago to run away, to start a new life. I now realise that running away isn't the answer. You have to stay put and deal with the problems that you've got at home, whether that be culturally, internally, emotionally, in your relationship. We've all got to stop running away, and we've got to confront the problems around the world. We have to look after our neighbours, look out for one another, and start creating our communities at home, and not in the foothills of Portugal. Good boy. Good boy. Well, what do you know? There was no dramas. I'm so glad. Car is packed. I've got everything that we left behind. And most importantly, I have my dogs back. Now, Obi wasn't very happy to see me when I first got there and ran away, but he's remembered who I am now. One night in Lule this evening, and then I start the mammoth journey back to England in a very hot car. The two dogs are going to be very hot. God, I miss this place. It's 8:30 on Monday evening, been a lovely day in many ways. We had the time to spend with the dogs, which I haven't spent time with them in 4 months, and which was really nice. Went to the beach, went to a restaurant and bar that I used to go to with Katie and the kids on the beach, which was nice, and had some lunch, and went and found a beach where the dogs could run around, which was awesome. But it's really sad driving around this area and around Cartera, around Lule. When we came here a year ago, we had so many hopes and dreams of starting this new life, living this different kind of life. And I really thought it was going to work, but it didn't, and it turned nasty. I'm just glad that it wasn't horrible today, it wasn't nasty, but I didn't go down into the community to see what it looked like now. I couldn't bear to do it, so I just packed up the car, got the dogs, and left, really. Trying not to feel bitter about the whole thing, but I do feel bitter. I do feel like we were pushed out of something that we created, and it was taken over, which isn't very nice, because we only ever wanted the best for everybody that was there. We worked really hard to make that place what it was at the point when we left the last time. But hey, I can't even blame them fully. I mean, things that happened, things that they did weren't particularly nice, but you can't run something effectively if you're not there for 3 months. And that's the problem with the visa system. Blame Brexit, whatever. Politics around the world is absolutely screwed. But I go back to what I said the other day, there's no point running away. We have to fix the problems that are around the world at home first, otherwise the problems will just spread. And as lovely as the romantic idea of starting a community in Portugal and living off grid is and everything, it's a lot more difficult to be in a community or start a community than you think it is. And if you're thinking of doing the same thing, just think twice and realise how hard it is. It's such a shame, a real shame, because the potential was there. I have some amazing memories from that time. I think that's why it was so difficult for me to come back and to be here on my own, without Katie and without the kids. It was a very lonely experience. Oh well. Start the journey back tomorrow morning, first thing. I was going to do it with 2 stops, but I'm only going to do it with 1 stop. I'm going full hardcore. I'm going to drive for 12.5 hours tomorrow, probably more like 13.5 with stops, and then I'm going to race from Bordeaux the next day all the way to Le Châtel, and hopefully get back to Midhurst at about 9:30 p.m. on Thursday, on Wednesday evening. So, onwards and upwards. The car, the KA, I have to say, very tiny little car. That little beast hasn't done me wrong. It may get hot and sweaty in there, but I've done 1,500 miles in the last 2 days in that car, and it's got another 1,500 miles to go, and I think it's done pretty damn well. My little pocket rocket it is. Although, driving up the hills to the Airbnb I'm staying in tonight, with it fully laden down with me, the dogs and all the luggage, it might have been a tad slow going up the hills. But no. What else do I need to say?
It's time to get up.
12.5 hours. Oh God, which is going to be even longer with dog wheeze and that stuff. Let's get going. It's 10 o'clock in the morning and I am feeling really tired. I've still got, I don't know, 9 hours of driving left to go today until I get to Bordeaux, and I am just gonna get in that hotel or that apartment I'm staying in and crash out. Oh God. And being back in Spain, the temperature is just like flying through the roof again. It's getting hot in here now, and it's only 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:04. Dogs are doing okay at the moment, although they're going to start feeling the heat as well, and I'm going to have to start driving with the windows open. It's very, very full in here. Absolutely jam-packed. I'm just really looking forward to getting back to Midhurst and then staying there for a night and then going up, see the kids, drop Margot off. Obi's going to stay with my mum for now. Time to get shit together. Get my life sorted. Too many things up in the air at the moment. Tough time. It's tough spending this much time alone as well, like not being distracted by anything, you know. I'm just driving, listening to podcasts, listening to music, something like that. It's not really much of a distraction, and it really makes you think about everything, and you can't escape from yourself. You've got nobody else to talk to about anything else, so you're just sitting with your thoughts and the long road. Magic wand or winning a lottery ticket. Say money can't fix your problems. I think it can go a pretty good way to fixing your problems. Depends what your problems are. Anyway, god damn, it's getting hot. I'm gonna have to turn this off so I can put the aircon, the fan on, before we all melt. I have made it to Le Château. I'm in Calais. It was a bit touch and go there for a second. You have to get the dogs' passports checked before you can go to the terminal. I wasn't expecting there to be any problems. They all got checked in Portugal. They had their deworming and all their checks that they needed, so I wasn't anticipating any problem. Went through the passport check for the dogs and there was a problem. I'm scanning the dogs' chips because they want to see the chip numbers and everything like that. That's fine. She's looking at the paperwork and then she goes, "Oh, can I scan the dogs again? But can we do it outside?" I'm like, "Yes, why are you taking me outside to scan the dogs?" And she leans over to me and went, "Your vet filled out the pet passports incorrectly." And I'm like, "Oh God, here we go." And I was terrified the dogs were going to end up in quarantine for weeks or something like that. And bless her, I'm not sure if I should say this really, but she said, "Here's a pen. I'll tell you what to write, where you need to write it, and we'll pretend it never happened." I was like, "Oh, thank God. Thank you so much." And it was literally something as simple as the fact that the vet forgot to write in the date that he issued the passport. I'm like, seriously? when we drove over originally, because we went over on the vaccine certificates from our local vet in the UK, and because we were planning on travelling around so much, we decided to go to a local vet when we were in Spain to get them European passports. So, you know, we couldn't stay in the country longer than 3 months at a time, but the dogs were golden. Anyway, so crisis averted. I got to the terminal hours before the train was supposed to arrive because I wanted to make sure I had enough room to play with time-wise in case there was any traffic or any problems or anything like that. But I have been put on an earlier train. So my new train now goes at 7:15 local time here in France, 6:15 time back in the UK. It's a half an hour trip, so I get to the UK 6:45, I think. Yeah, 6:45. 2 hour trip. The other side, straight to Midhurst, straight to the pub, large glass of wine, and see some friendly faces.